We're gonna do the Shacknews Award for Best Racing Game of 2021. So, anyone got any racing games they want to nominate?
We should.
I heard that Forza is pretty popping.
Yeah,
You haven't even
the
played
one
it.
out there.
I've just heard it. The kids
on
the street, all the youths are talking about
like
it.
So like when you were walking to 7-Eleven, the kids on the street were like, "Hey, Mister, have you heard about Forza Horizon 5?"
He's played about as much as me. I'm still waiting for the servers to be turned on.
Forza's pretty good.
It's not. I don't know. It's still playable. It's not.
I guess
It's not completely.
Not if you want to race against people or play with your friends.
Yeah, it's mainly just ghost-based racing right now, right?
Not be able to play with some friends.
Also, hopefully you don't want to do skill challenges or any other shit since it just disconnects you every 5 seconds.
I had a lot of issues with the first, like when it first came out, those first few days. But I played with people a handful of times over the last couple weeks. It's really good.
Xbox?
But I was on Xbox. They were all on PC, so we were doing a crossplay. But yeah, I mean, Forza's great. It's one of those games where it's like, what can you say? Because it's so similar to the last few they've done, but they're all so excellent that it's like it's kind of just one of the guarantees that the new Forza games are going to be really good, and this one's not any different.
I'll put out a different game, just because to play devil's advocate here to myself. Riders Republic is a decent racing game. Like
it's got
some that for like $20 on Black Friday. Try it out a little bit.
It'll be on Game Pass by March. Yeah, Riders Republic looks good. I mean, speaking of online bugs and stuff, though, that was another one where it was a bit of a hot mess online for a while. But that's another good one.
The ability to teleport to your friends when you're in a party together anywhere on the open world is really good.
Yeah.
And other open world racing games or whatever should adopt that mechanic.
That's kind of the rub though too for me is it's like I didn't enjoy the actual racing aspect of Riders Republic. I enjoyed getting a rocket pack and going around and exploring and like finding like hidden spots, and hidden items and stuff like that, and just dicking around in the open world with like my friends, you know. Like the actual races themselves, like I had issues. Like there's times where maybe you'll hit a rock or something, and the way that it like makes you rewind and let it instead of just resetting you like San Francisco Rush, like 20 whatever, you know, things like that. I think that was a real misstep because if you're playing against real people and you keep hitting like the same rock over and over and you can't get up, and then you have to like reset yourself, and that takes all the time that it took you to go through all of those crashes, like the odds of you having any chance of being like competitive in those races is gone out the window, and you're just sitting there frustrated. Yeah, so like I agree.
The collision detection is really weird in that game because you have these like massive races, and this is actually one of the things I like about it quite a bit. There's these like 64-person races that are like event driven. They happen every so often. To be able to play 64 people at once is pretty cool on these races, but the collision detection is super wonky. Where like sometimes you hit someone with your bike, you both fall. Other times like you go right through people. And then to Blake's point, there will be like a pebble on the ground, and sometimes you hit it, you come to a complete stop. And it's just like, things like that make it annoying, but it is a racing game, and racing games, to me, are about repetition and memorization of turns. This is how I decelerate on this turn. This is how, you know, this is where I can try to pass someone. Riders gets a lot of that right, which I think it deserves some credit for. And it gives you just a ton of different experiences, like skiing, snowboarding, bicycle. You know, you put a jetpack in a game, I'm going to like it. And this game has a jetpack, and the jetpack races are some of my favorite parts of it. Like,
I can appreciate Riders Republic. It's like modern Pilot Wings.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't had a good Pilot Wing style game in a while, and this kind of feels like it fills that void.
Yeah, and there are things in it, Ozzy, that are more puzzly. Right, like it's like jump puzzles with a mountain bike kind of thing. Like the challenges are kind of diverse in that sense, where it does resemble pilot wings more than like a
It's like they took the best. It's like they took the best stuff from Steep and the crew, and made something actually that people would want to play.
Yeah, and kind of like the crew 2. Like kind of like the crew 2 where you would be in a race and it would be 3 different things. They embraced that, but they did it better, in my opinion. Like you go from skiing to a mountain bike to a jetpack back to bike. Like the transitions are really good.
They dumped the dumber things about the crew, like the story and all that.
No,
I mean, you still got
there's still a super cringy story that's like, that
sup,
dude,
bro, be an influencer. Get your fucking Finsta followers, dog.
The guy who's like
traded one bad story for another.
There's like a dude flipping hamburgers that's like your mentor or something, and he's
I'm
like, why do I want to be like this guy who's flipping hamburgers right now? Like,
I thought it was about family. It's all about family.
No,
it's not a Fast and Furious.
You're thinking of Fast and Furious. But yeah, I think Riders deserves at least recognition in this category.
I feel like it's one of those games that's going to be better in a sequel when they do a second one with like all the improvements or something.
Maybe it's a game that they just add to, Denny. Like maybe it's not. It doesn't need a sequel. Like maybe it's a game that you just add events to, or you add things to the. You could expand that map. I do think the map's pretty impressive in Riders. Like there's a lot of stuff to do on it.
It's vast.
I mean, they haven't been doing that with For Honor, so.
Man, I gotta tell you though, like I was playing the game. I took a jetpack to the highest peak I could find, and then I skied down that sucker, and that was super fun. But so I feel like I like doing all the things in the open world. I appreciate the environment that they've built. Having so much to do that isn't just racing as well, which is something that Forza is also really well known for.
I was gonna say Forza Horizon specifically is an open world, and you can level up your character just by driving into a bunch of cacti. Like you don't have to play that game to progress. You can just do whatever you want, and that's true of Riders also. So I think they both kind of do that. But yeah, my favorite thing to do in Riders was to fly the jetpack up to the highest you can get in the sky. There's like a ceiling in the sky, and then I just try to do a trick, and it'll be like a beyond, like, I don't know, whatever, like people do 900s or whatever. Like imagine the most insane spin that you could do as you fall from 6,000 feet in the air, and then you break your legs when you hit the ground, but it's still fun.
But then, that's the one time the reverse button is actually fun too, because when you hit the ground, you can just make yourself go back up to the air and do like the reverse, like watch your trick in reverse.
Yeah. Speaking about the open world in Riders Republic 2, I also like that they kind of just let you do whatever the hell you want. Like how there's different, like there's bicycles, there's snowboards and ski. You can like ski and stuff, and then there's like the dedicated areas for them, like the rocky mountainous region to bike through, or like the snowy mountains for snowboarding. But like if you want to, you can use whatever anywhere. Like if you want to ride a bicycle down like a snowy mountain, you can do that. You'll fall all over the place, and it'll be like hell trying to handle it. But I like that you can screw around and experiment like that. I was like in the river.
Race. Did you play the ice bike race?
I don't know. I might have. I might have done.
You're literally on ice on the side of a mountain. And it's it's very curvy. That's by far one of my favorite races in the game. So they're like, you unlock different types of these vehicles, and I don't know. It's definitely a collectathon too. Like I don't know. I like it. I also think Forza. That intro to Forza is pretty outstanding. I don't know if anyone, if you played that intro.
With the plane.
Yeah, like
Forza intros are just they nail it every time. That gives you a good look at the world you're about to explore in a vehicle, and Horizon 5.
Just the level of detail that they put into beautiful Mexico. Love it.
Yeah.
The intro to Forza Horizon 5 was better than anything that happened in like the last 5 Fast and the Furious movies. So there's that.
Whoa.
Dang.
That's a hot take.
I'll
allow it.
That's fair. Tough but fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Greg.
When this clip goes up on Twitter, you're gonna get killed, man.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a good sequence though. Like it's really good.
It's high octane thrill ride.
Are we leaving out any racers that were? Oh, you know what game had a Death Stranding added a racing mode? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
I thought about it. And I was like,
how was it?
I mean, we can get into it when we talk about Best Strand game, but
yeah, but let's. I think we should move on. There aren't many. My point was there weren't many racing games that dropped this year.
Yeah, and let's just say that it took the mechanics of driving in Death Stranding and put you on a track.
It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Oh
if
man,
Forza gets a pass for being the same, then I guess I might bring up F1 again, since it would be
another great one.
Same as last year's, although it got launched broken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like F1, excellent game last year, didn't really change a whole lot. Still excellent. You can't like penalize these excellent games for being awesome 2 years in a row.
Yeah, like we say that same thing for like MLB The Show. Like it
Exactly.
stays good, but like, you know, it's better than going the other way. It's better than being Madden, where you're just constantly shit.
So Chris, why don't you talk about F1 a bit for us?
There's not much to say that wasn't said last year. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, but that was a year, man. I don't remember last year.
It's exactly the same game. Now they've added the ability to play through the modes co-op, so you and a friend can do the team mode where you go and sign contracts with whatever teams you like, be it the same team or opposite teams, and work through a couple years of a driving career. That's the big change, and they've kind of expanded on the esports stuff a bit. But I mean, it's the same game, same engine. For the first few weeks, they had some of the last year's liveries and stuff in the game because they were still trying to work to get it updated, although that might have been more of a COVID deal because the actual F1 had also not got their shit together at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I could, in good conscience, put over Forza just because it's not as accessible. And I mean, Forza did introduce an entirely new world or playground or, environment, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I like the diversity of the biomes in Forza Horizon 5 because Mexico has a lot of different climates within that country, and they captured that pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of exciting. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, you're good. I just said I appreciate the cultural details. It seemed like they really did care about that aspect of the game.
Yeah, and I think that I can't talk to that much about in terms of Mexico, but I know that when Forza Horizon 3 was set in Australia, I was like, that's awesome. Like I felt like I was being represented to a larger audience, and I'm sure people from Mexico might feel the same, or like being able to explore their country in this new format. And I think that's really exciting.
I love the idea of this crazy person flying a plane around Mexico, just dropping cars out of it. Like, pretty great. It seems plausible.
The biggest gripe on the Mexican presentation would be that they blew it on the radio stations. There should have been lots more Mexican music, and instead I have to listen to the same three Foo Fighters songs over and over.
The NPC voices were not great.
And you're forced to be British no matter what you pick in your he, she, they, their menu.
Yeah, I don't understand why I'm British.
You're tourist in Mexico.
Spoiled, snotty little bitch. No matter what.
It's clearly Playground Games is like they like looked at it around their office like, who can do a voiceover for this game? Like
they're all about inclusivity so long as you're a white male from the UK.
This was weird. Like I have a brown character. I look like a young version of me or whatever. I have my cargo shorts on, but I sound British, and I'm like,
you sound like Little Orphan Annie all the time.
I don't like that.
Was it the idea that was it a continuation from like Horizon 4 because that was set in the UK? Yeah, was it like your character has gone from there to?
They do treat it like that, but I mean, you've had the exact same character profiles and stuff. Like it's been that way since Australia. Like the same character models. The same 5 people you could choose, the same 5 faces.
But I will say I prefer that over like somebody trying to do a Mexican stereotype accent.
I was gonna say I like to think that somebody somewhere tried to do a voice and they were like, "This is wildly offensive. Let's just stick to our regular
Mexican stereotype voices in the NPCs you encounter along the way."
Yes, there are.
Although they're not like
they're sporadic,
aggressively bad.
They're very sporadic. You're like, well, that was a weird random Mexican accent, and then it's back to British people for the next 30 minutes.
The weirdest part is that nobody ever brings up that you're absolutely destroying the beauty of Mexico. You're destroying the ecosystem. You're running into people's houses. You're terrorizing people at all hours of the night. You're just being a general douchebag all the time. All these people from a different country who are not wearing masks are just fucking up our landscape all the time.
But at least you're doing it in a fuel-efficient vehicle.
and then you step outside to have a cigarette like a good citizen, and then you notice these guys in a bunch of Volkswagen Golfs that have anime liveries on them chasing these donkeys around in your backyard. And I don't think it's fair to the people of Mexico.
I mean, maybe they're just
Good point.
they just might
This
be
game does have
embodying
the
the
best action
spirit.
donkey tech I've seen this year.
They might be embodying the spirit of Andrew WK. It's a party, and they're just gonna party. And
It
they're
definitely feels that way.
WK riding in my backyard.
I definitely like the idea though that like maybe there was like a large amount of money given to these communities so that Westerners could come in and destroy it.
That's
Is
how the
Forza
history
Horizon
of foreign
5
occupiers in Mexico has worked out.
Is Forza Horizon 5 actually about colonialism?
Kinda.
It's a gentrification simulator.
It's a little bit.
There might be some subtext there.
Definitely an allegory about colonialism.
I noticed the
Maybe not as
cartel
on the
never
nose
shows
as-
up at any point during the game either.
I mean, it is a British development team, so they got to go with what they know.
My racing game vote
The sun never
has
sets on playground games.
my racing game vote has gone all over the place in the course of the last 5 minutes.
It
Like,
really
At this point,
has.
it's Hot Wheels.
Like I
This is
am
proven more
back and
difficult than
forth.
before. Yeah,
Oh my
this is
god,
proven
I
more.
loved Hot Wheels Unleashed. I really did.
Did you?
Oh wait, we forgot. You reviewed this game. Cruise and Blast exists.
No, it doesn't. Let's forget it ever exists.
Wait a minute.
I also
How badly
reviewed
do they?
Taxi City Chaos or whatever it was called.
Oh,
Wait
man.
a minute, Blake. I know it's the Switch. I know it's janky hardware or whatever. But like, how badly is the translation from arcade to Switch to console?
Sad, man, sad. You would think this was an N64 game in some places. I mean, there's some shiny stuff, but it's like you could play through the entire game in less than an hour and basically see everything to see. They have like variations of like the 5 arcade maps here and there, but you're just doing the same thing, only now instead of there being a giant T-Rex, there's a giant Yeti, and both of their models are horrible, and like you can unlock a Triceratops, but its legs bend all weird.
This is where I say shame on Nintendo for not releasing another racer this year. Like they could have released a wave race or like I don't know, any other racer.
They're
Diddy
keeping
Kong racing.
They're keeping the Cruisin' franchise alive, but like F-Zero, we're just gonna leave that on the shelf.
F-Zero is obviously dead and buried, but like Diddy Kong Racing just sitting there, that'd be fun, you know, and that's different enough from kart, you know, where it would be a nice thing. Wave race, I would love to see a new wave race.
Cruisin' sure is different from kart. I'll give it that much.
If I cared about F-Zero deeply, I would not want to happen to F-Zero what happened to the Cruisin' franchise this year.
Yeah.
No,
Totally,
I don't.
absolutely not.
I think that if an F-Zero does happen ever again, it should be Nintendo first party. Like I don't think they should outsource that to anyone.
This was a bad port of a good arcade game. That's what Cruisin' Blast was.
Yeah, because I was on vacation. I was on vacation back in July, and I actually found a Cruisin' Blast arcade machine, and that was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, but I think there's something to be said about the arcade experience for a game like that too. Trying to recapture that on a Nintendo Switch with like downgraded graphics and stuff did not work. It was janky. I did actually like Hot Wheels Unleashed a lot, though. Honestly.
I love the aesthetic of it, where it was actually the toys and you could see like the scratches on them and being like shrunken down to actual size and like going through vents and seeing pizza boxes and stuff. I thought that was all really cool. The driving was take or leave.
Yeah, the driving is really basic. It's straightforward. You gas, brake, drift, right, and some turbo. And what's interesting is like there's different types of turbo for different types of cars. So some have a bar that refills. Some have like 1, 2, 3 reserves or more, and you hit it. But you recharge that by drifting or hitting like certain energy spots on the track. There's crazies they threw in like a lot of the like accessories. Like there's a spider that'll shoot webs on the ground. You can there's a T-Rex mouths that open and close, and you can crash into them. Like little things. I think there was like something that breathed fire too. I can't recall right now. But the other cool thing is like the licensing they got for that game is awesome. I unlocked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle van and it was like racing the turtle van against like the Batmobile against like an R2D2 car and things like that. Like it really, it's fun. It's basic. It's not like the most intricate racing game, but it scratches an itch, I think, especially if you're a nerd and you like the idea of driving around in a turtle van. And
like, is it similar to Lego Racer from like years and years ago? Like pretty basic, but still. Oh, you never played it. Okay. Lego Racer is that sort of thing where it was very basic, but it nailed the aesthetic, and it was just it controlled well, it played well, it was fun.
I think for me, like one of the most important parts of a good racing game is replayability.
Yeah.
And I think Forza and Riders Republic have all these other games beat when it comes to that. There's a lot of
100%.
There's a lot of progression. Like each car has its own progression in Forza. You know, like there's achievements that you can hit for each individual car you pick up. The level of customization is also insane in that game. It's like, and I know Chris said this in his review, but yeah, like a lot of this has already been in Forza. So it's hard to be like this game really stands out from Forza Horizon 4. It doesn't. They're very similar games. If you played a lot of Forza Horizon 4, you're probably not super into 5. I kind of didn't play much of 4. I played a lot of 3, to Sam's point, because like for me, I like the settings. So like a different setting will pull me into Forza, and I was like, oh cool, I want to go to Australia, but like England, I was like, whatever. Now I'm like, oh yeah, I want to race around in Mexico. So I think that's a large part of it, but also just the sheer amount of replayability in Forza is kind of hard to compare to most of these other games. I do think Riders kind of holds its own in that respect, though. But yeah, should we put this to a vote?
I think so.
Okay. Let's start with Chris.
If I go with what I played, I'd probably pick F1, but I'm assuming that Forza will eventually, hopefully, get fixed. So I guess I'll go with that.
Okay. Follow your heart, Chris.
Yeah, if you want to vote for F1, vote for F1.
I mean, yeah, I'll just abstain.
Aww. What?
Okay. I'll wait. I'm gonna wait. Blake.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with Hot Wheels Unleashed, racing game I played the most, and I haven't played Forza yet, so I can't really. Okay. I mean, it's. You know what? I do want to give. The thing about Forza though is they do deserve a lot of credit, just alone for all the accessibility stuff that with this version. I think that's a big step forward for not just racing games but games in general. So if I can give them my vote based off of that without having played it, like they can get my vote for that.
This is not a vote about accessibility by itself. Okay. It can definitely play a role in it.
Okay.
This is just about the racing game. Which is your favorite racing game of 2020?
Then I'll stick with Hot Wheels.
Okay, so we got one for Hot Wheels. We have one abstaining, and Sam.
Forza, thank you.
We got one for Forza. Bill.
The arguments for Riders actually convinced me not to vote Riders because it sounds like something I really want to play, but all the stuff that sounded great was exploration, not so much the racing. So Forza for me.
Okay. Yeah. Ozzy.
I'm gonna say Riders Republic.
TJ.
Colonialism, Horizon 5.
Greg.
Horizon 5.
Donovan.
Forza, it's the best racing game I played this year.
Denny.
Definitely Forza Horizon 5 and Viva La Mexico.
And David.
Blake won me over. I'm going to go Hot Wheels. To be honest, I don't play a lot of racing games, but when I do, I approach them from an arcade mentality. I don't really care about progression, customization. I just want to sit down and race a couple games. Hot Wheels sounds right up my alley.
Okay, so we have 2 votes for Hot Wheels. Was that 1 vote for Riders Republic? And 1 abstention, and then I'll vote. I guess I'll vote for. I'm gonna vote for Forza. It's like the problems that Chris has pointed out, I also agree will hopefully be dealt with. I think Microsoft has a track record of improving their online games over time better than a lot of other devs. So my hope is that the online experience will improve too. But even just as a single player experience, I've really enjoyed Forza Horizon 5. Like I just think it's excellent. And it's graphically extreme. It's just very impressive. But I feel the same way about F1. Like that's a very graphically impressive racing game that has fun single player experience. But yeah, I'm gonna vote for Forza. It looks like Forza Horizon 5 has won the Shacknews Award for Best Racing Game of 2021. That's the gavel hitting the thing. And that's it.
Stop, better get out the way, get out the way, get out the way.